Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has announced his decision to step down for health reasons. Now, he says he did not want his health to get in the way of decision-making and apologized to the Japanese people for failing to complete his term in office. The nation's longest-serving prime minister also says it's not up to him to decide on his successor. He will continue to serve until the next leader is chosen. And Michio Ishida joins us now for more on this. So, Mitch, Mr. Abe's resignation, was it a surprise?
It was a big surprise. No one predicted it, not even political watchers. And there are many parliamentarians who say that they were surprised to hear that he was stepping down. It's because after each hospital visit, he's been expressing his determination to continue on with his duties as prime minister, especially as Japan has to deal with the unprecedented pandemic, COVID-19. The number of cases are still quite high, with 226 new cases in Tokyo alone today. Now, his chief cabinet secretary, Yoshihide Suga, has been saying every day that Mr. Abe's condition is stable. But Japanese media have been constantly reporting on Mr. Abe's condition, looking weaker, walking slowly, leaning sometimes against the wall. And his hospital visit did cause speculation that something was wrong with him because he was there for more than 7 hours and his second visit. And he didn't visit his constituency and his father's grave or play golf, which he would have usually done in August to, for his holidays. Anyway, so this is his explanation at his news conference tonight.
病気と治療を抱え、体力が万全でないという苦痛の中、大切な政治判断を誤ること、結果を出さないことがあってはなりません。国民の皆様の負託に自信を持って応えられる状態で亡くなった以上、総理大臣の地位にあり続けるべきではないと。
Mitch, Mr. Abe has said that he won't play a part in selecting who his successor is, but he has said he's going to stay on until that replacement is chosen. What kind of time frame are we looking at, though?
Well, the party leadership will probably want to hold the presidential election as soon as possible because Mr. Abe wants to stay as prime minister until his successor is elected, and his health condition is not good. So they would need to choose a leader as soon as possible. Normally, the election would take place in the form of giving 394 votes to the local chapters of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, to match with 394 votes of parliamentarians. And this style would take about 12 days. But because the prime minister suddenly decided to step down, they might take a shortcut of election of just leaders of local chapters and parliamentarians. So during this time frame until election day, voting day, election campaign must take place. And who will run in this race? Well, Shigeru Ishiba, who was LDP Secretary General and Defense Minister, he receives the biggest public support so far as a successor of Mr. Abe, but he doesn't have much support from his party members. But he says that he wants to run in this race. And Fumio Kishida, who's a former foreign minister, who seems to be Mr. Abe's favorite, he seems to be keen to run in this race. So far, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga, who analysts think will run in this race, has remained mum. Anyway, whoever wins in this presidential election will serve only until next September. It's the remaining term of Mr. Abe. So that means another LDP presidential election must take place in September next year.
All right, Michio, thank you very much for that. Always good to speak to you. Michio Ishida there reporting from Tokyo.